Hi, everybody. So this is a little video about how to make your book. So what you're going to do is take a large sheet of paper. This is an 18 by 24. And what I'm going to do is just fold it in half longwise. So this is actually bigger than the book that I initially showed you yesterday in that video. Just using my fingernails to hold that nice and then you can tear it right along the edge, or you can just use a pair of scissors to cut it. So if you really folded it well, you actually can just rip it. Either way, is totally fine. All right, so now we have these two pieces, and what we're going to do first is to glue them together. We're going to just overlap them by about an inch so that it's a nice solid connection there. And I like to use soft gel or heavy gel matte medium, or you could use any of the glues that you have. But this stuff really works, and I like it because it glues quickly. So I'm always impatient to get to the next step. So I just put a little bit down on the edge here, and take something like a sharp piece of a card or something like that, and you can just drag it along the edge there, get a nice even and thin coat of your glue. Like that. And then just overlap right in the middle. So again, I said I'm covering about an inch is a good amount to cover. So yeah, then you just want to really just sort of smooth it down on the edge. All right, so now, and if you have any left over, just scoop it away. If you have any gaps like this looks like I need to do a better job of gluing right there. Just spread a little bit along the edges. Because you really want this to look nice and neat. So then the next thing we're going to do is make the accordion folds. And for this, what you want to do, and you probably want to wait for this to dry a little bit more. So you want it to be nice and flat. First thing you're going to do is you fold papers in half. This is why you really want to make sure that your edges are glued and you've waited a little bit of time for it to dry. Okay, just gonna go right ahead and do this. It does dry. Okay, and then, so once you've got that fold it again in half. And fold it over the edge here. So let's see, how many folds are we going to have here? I would say, let's do one more fold. Because you want this book to have more than just 4 pages. You want to, a little bit more for you to play with. Okay. So at any rate, this is going to be the size and shape of your book page. If you wanted it a little less long and narrow, you could just cut, that bottom off with a pair of scissors, just measure it and cut it so that it's a little more square than rectangular, but it doesn't really matter. So, but feel free to do that if you like. Then what you're going to do is open this whole thing up. You'll see that the reason we folded it first in half is so that we have nice even number of pages. We got that big number of pages here. So take this to the top and then just start folding back and forth until you're literally making an accordion. So some of the folds that you made are going to be going in a different direction than you initially made. But if you just fold them back and forth, yeah, you've got a nice accordion. So that's the first step. Okay, so then the next part involves cutting out parts of your prints that you've made. So as I said before, you've made a lot of prints. What do you do with all of them? Some of them, really successful. You may want to just hold on to those and do whatever with them. But some of them you can turn into book pages, and really exciting to see how these things end up in a book format. So you're going to grab some of your prints. I'm just going to get mine. Okay, so I've got along some of my prints, and this is where we're going to use those cropping pieces of paper, and here. So what you want to do is take these croppers, I'm not sure what else to call them, and here's the size of your book. You want to think about, how big is that cover? How big is that space? So it doesn't have to fill the whole piece of paper at all. It could just be sort of in the center, with a little bit of border. And this is another, really great exercise to do, which is to look at your prints in, in a different way. Like, what could this be if it were cropped down? Would it be more interesting if it was smaller, different? Is it more interesting when this is more on an angle? So it really is a very good exercise to do. And then once you've determined what you like, and again, it does not have to fit exactly in this space, and you can certainly just work with this as a sort of place to just sort of show off your pieces. Then you want to draw your border here just so you can see it. And then you want to cut it out. So here we go. Now we have a way to mount that image in our book. So actually, one thing you might want to do is think about this blank page as a cover, and you just start placing your first image and the inside cover. And of course, there you're going to need your glue again. You want to glue in the back of this a nice thin. Wow, that's kind of an interesting thing here. It's also really beautiful. It must be in the back here. Oh, you might like to do that instead. Oh, you never know what you find here. So I think I made this texture using Saran wrap, which is a really fun thing to do too. Just take a piece of plastic wrap, crinkle it up. Well, it'll crinkle anyway, and put it right down on your plate and pull it up. You'll get some really interesting shapes. So suppose you did want to glue this in, you can. And as I said, feel free to cut it down so that maybe you like the whole thing a little bit more, taking up more space. So we're going to glue in randomly these pieces of our prints. And, you know, I don't think that you want to think about, do they relate to each other? Because we're actually going to be adding another piece to this, which is some random words that you're going to create into some sort of a narrative, and then you're going to place them along or near or on top of these images once we're done. But this is an exercise in inviting chance, inviting serendipity into our art practice, and just allowing things to happen unexpectedly that may be really engaging and fun for you. So, as I said, go ahead and find images for each one of these pages. Here you go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pages altogether. And we're going to save the covers, figure out what to do with those another time. I just wanted to show you this other book that we read. So this is a finished version of the kind of thing that you guys can be doing. So yeah, there you go. These images actually were taken from a set of prints. And oops. Oh yeah, this is kind of interesting. So you remember the book that I showed in the video yesterday, of the book that I made about beetles. So you can add extra pages into your book and do interesting things with those as well. It's just a matter of making little sort of cutaways in along the edge, along the fold, and it's not a hard thing to do, but you can add all kinds of things to this book. So as you can see, I added, well, this is a poem that a friend wrote. And when we see the way the words and the image link up, I'm like, I did not know that I was going to use that poem on top of the images from my print. I just kind of did it. And it's wonderful to see how sometimes the images actually really respond to the words and vice versa. But we set up that, in our, we can't help but read words on a page and look at the image and see if there's a relationship or make a relationship. So it might be just something about the mood of the image, or it could be the colors, or it could be the shapes. But at any rate, we're inviting serendipity into our art practice by just not over planning, not over planning at all what we're going to see. All right, so have fun with this, and I will see you next time.